He is best known as the Beatles' producer. But in addition to all the incredible records he's made, for 50 years he has been one of music world's classiest gentlemen. Impeccable might be just the right word to describe both the person and his work. Please welcome a real living legend, Sir George Martin.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, as you look around the stage tonight, you might be wondering, what are those weird rectangular things doing, hanging all over the place? Well, they're designed to resemble the kind of acoustic panels that you would have found in the walls of a studio in the mid-1960s, when Brian Wilson was making his most legendary music. You see, the recording studio had become his workshop, the place where he painted his masterpieces. And in doing so, he changed the very concept of record production. The studio became rock's most powerful instrument. I believe that at this time, the very best of pop music became the music of the people, speaking with greater authority than any classical music of that period. And I think if Mozart were alive in the 60s, he would have enjoyed creating his music in a similar way, experimenting in the studio, along with Brian and all his rivals. One of the great things about Brian's music is its marvelous unpredictability. He avoided cliches. He gives his melodies changes of direction that amaze and charm the listener. And Brian's sounds take us into a new, beautiful countryside. In 1966, I was working with the Beatles at Abbey Road Studios, producing Revolver, while here in America, Brian Wilson was creating Pet Sounds, an album that became the criterion of excellence in our world. His genius seemingly encompassed everything. As the leader of the Beach Boys, he composed the songs, he made the arrangements, performed along with all his mates in the band, and produced the sounds in the studio. You could compare it to the combined songwriting talents of John and Paul, the performing talents of George and Ringo, along with my work in the control room. Quite simply, he did it all. It could be argued that the Beatles had become culturally the most important group of the 60s. They defined the era. Yet I have to say that Brian was the musician who challenged them most of all. No one made a bigger impact on the Beatles than Brian.
I think personally he's one of your great American geniuses. Sir, for everything you've done for me, for making me cry, for having that thing you can do with your music. You just put those notes, those harmonies together, stick a couple of words over the top of it, and you've got me any day. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Wilson.
In the fall of 1966, Brian came up with the greatest single of its day, still one of the most remarkable recordings ever. And in making it, he developed a brand new style of production. A song in which he stitched together independently recorded themes to make one master work. The name he gave it defines the spirit behind all his music, good vibrations.
I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitation.
I believe that without his inspiration, Sgt. Pepper might have been less of the phenomenon that it became. By my standards, Brian Wilson is still a young man, a living genius of pop music. His invention and creativity reached a level that I always found staggering. He gave the Beatles and myself quite a good deal to think about in trying to keep up with him. And like them, he pushed forward the frontiers of popular music. His art is that magical combination of really original compositions, a wonderful sense of instrumental colour, and a profound understanding of record production. I guess you could say I'm a fan. Incredible track, Good Vibrations, isn't it? And nobody had ever made a record like Good Vibrations before, and the idea of performing it live has always seemed overwhelming. But this band can do it. And tonight, along with the Boys Choir of Harlem, one of America's greatest baritones, Jubilant Sykes, and two of the founding women of rock, Ann and Nancy Wilson, here is Brian Wilson's greatest production, Good Vibration.
I love the colorful clothes you wear.